Good morning. So it's been a minute since I've updated y'all, just because I took this last week off kind of as a social media detox. I was so busy with stuff going on, and I think it's really important everybody acknowledges symptoms of tiredness, exhaustion, and things that can lead up to burnout. And one of the best tricks, by the way, to not avoid burnout, but to help prevent a real burnout and just feeling so overwhelmed, is just really taking time for yourself, not feeling like you have to do anything for anyone else. Even if social media is like your full-time job, let's say you run a business online and you use like YouTube and Instagram, sometimes you can't take a break, and I understand. I can't imagine, because I don't rely on social media for my job. But if you can try to squeeze in more time for yourself, it's really helpful. So I've decided this past week just to do that, because I wanted to do house projects, and I'm the kind of person where I'm like, I'm not necessarily all or nothing. I like to think about balance, and I'm really good at balancing. But with all that said, I was like, I don't have anything I have to share with the world right now. I don't have to do YouTube. I don't have to do social media. I just want to put my head down and relax and just do other stuff with my time. And you know what? Saturday, I sat down, which I never do. I actually laid down on the couch with my dog, and we just kind of chilled. I didn't take a nap, but I just chilled, and it was so nice. I can't tell you the last time I've done that, or have ever really done that during the day. Maybe at night, I'll sit down at night and watch TV or hang out with my husband or my dog. But that kind of leads me to where I am right now. I'm officially 10 weeks out for my competition, and I'm not doing fasted cardio. I can tell you the sheer difference, because I was doing cardio, wasn't doing fasted. That's the trick, fasted cardio. There's some different reasons. I think fasted cardio works the best for me. And the first reason, obviously, and when I say best for me, I mean like for my weight loss, my fat loss goals for bodybuilding, because I'm not necessarily trying to lose a ton of body fat fast, but when my coach put me back in maintenance calories, my body weight, I don't want to say fat, maybe a little bit, not too much, my body weight went up. I was sitting, I think, around 133, 134 before I moved my show back, my calories went up. And then for like 3 weeks, I was sitting around, which I'll say between 135 and 140. Right now I'm like 135, 136 again. But this past week, I felt blah. I'm not gonna lie. I had like little to no motivation to want to go to the gym. I still got to the gym 5 days a week, which is what I'm training right now. And I've noticed that even when I don't want to go to the gym and I go to the gym, I always feel better. Always. There's rarely a time when I go to the gym and I'm like, oh, I feel worse than when I came to the gym. That never happens to me. I always feel better. Even if I just go to the gym and do 3 different exercises, which I did Friday. Friday, I modified a little bit because I was tired. I was like, why am I so tired? Y'all, I forget every month when I get my period. So as a natural bodybuilder, I still have to, fend for that. Because every month when you get your cycle, and this totally makes more sense, I had less energy, less desire to go to the gym. I had more cravings. I only gave in to my cravings a few times last week. One day I had extra carbs because those just delicious little snack things, they're so good. They got to me, I'm not gonna lie. but they weren't a ton of calories. It was not even probably more than 50 calories extra. I still tracked it though. I still wrote it down that I went over my carbs. And then that's the other problem, I will say, with foods like snacky foods, like the delicious little rice cakes. They're great macros. However, all right, this is kind of where I am right now, so I'm just gonna share. If you eat a ton of those, like, it's so easy to go over the serving size. I think the serving size is like 21 pieces. So you have 30 little little circular rice cake thingies, which they're so good. Oh my god, they have like birthday cake and chocolate s'mores. They're great. But it's so easy to go, because they're like this big. They're so small, so it's easy to just grab a handful and it'd be like 10 of them, and then you easily go over the serving size. So my spiel on snacks, when you're having a snack, it's hard to have a snack versus a meal, because snacks are just extra calories, and that's why a lot of people say don't have snacks. That's why. That's literally it. It's just extra calories that you don't need to be consuming. Wouldn't it be better to have a little bit bigger of a meal with more calories that's satiating, so you don't feel the need to snack and do what I did after the gym, which is super dangerous, which is when you're hungry and then you have a snack, and that snack turns into an extra 50 or 100 calories. That's why a lot of like personal trainers and dietitians and nutritionists say don't snack. That's it. It's so easy to give into temptation. Unless you're going to have a little bit of a higher protein snack, then it's usually a little bit better, and you'll feel better, and you'll have your protein. So it'll stabilize your blood sugar, and you'll feel less hungry. Anywho, that's where I was last week. But the day before I got my period, man, I was so hungry. And I'm not even in like that much of a caloric deficit, but my body got used to the extra calories going up back to maintenance mode. So now I'm having a little bit harder time cutting, which is fine, but it sucks because it's like I was doing so great, but now I just have to go back to that mindset. But it honestly took me about a month to get back to where I used to be, even though I only went up calorie wise for like 3 weeks. So that's really saying something. But the day before I got my period, man, I was so hungry, and I had a whole extra chicken breast. And I did log that, and I said, bro, 40 extra grams of protein, or 40 extra grams of chicken. I don't know how much protein that was, but it was probably closer to 100 grams, or not grams, 100 calories, or at least 100 or 150 calories. Sorry, I'm trying not to walk into like an ant pile because I'm walking in the grass. But I needed that, bro. Like, if I hadn't had that extra chicken, I would have lost my mind. And I know that sounds so silly, but that's just where my mind was last week. And everyone would be like, it's just chicken breast. I know it's just chicken breast. But in the, unfortunately, real world, I say unfortunately, I love bodybuilding, but little things like that really can make it or break it as far as you losing weight or not. So I did have the extra chicken breast, and my weight didn't go down the next day, but I got my period. So it's like win-win, win-loss, loss-win, you know. But other than that, I feel mentally better. And I wanted just to talk really about women in general and when we do this thing, because our mood can shift so much, so fast, so dramatically with hormone fluctuations. And I do take supplements to support like stabilization in hormones. I take chaseberry, which is also called Vitex. I have another supplement that I love that I get at Vitamin Shop called Relax and Restore. It has the KSM 66 ashwagandha, magnesium, theanine. Do your own research, see if those are great for you. But when I worked at Vitamin Shop, we sold the crap out of the supplement. So I was like, all right, let me see what this is all about. And it totally helps me feel better. You know, premenstrual syndrome just like sucks. Like there's no way to get around it. You have more cravings and you're more lethargic, and when you're about to get your cycle and you're in a bodybuilding phase of your life, so you're working out 5 days a week, so your body might be more fatigued, your central nervous system might be more taxed. Hopefully your sleep is stable. That's the one thing right now. My sleep is good. And I'm monitoring everything because I'm trying to treat myself kind of like a guinea pig, and also tell people what it's really like if you want to compete in bodybuilding. Because it is emotionally and mentally draining. It's just different than powerlifting. Powerlifting is physically draining, but it's not so emotionally and mentally draining. Bodybuilding is mentally draining, and not even because of the food thing, but because you have to be all in. So that's going to lead me to my last point here for this week's update is fasted cardio made a huge difference, but the problem was when I was doing it every day. Now when my cardio went down, my coach pulled down my cardio, and that was just to not have to expend so many calories and just to try to focus on recovery a little bit more. But I noticed a huge difference when I just did regular cardio throughout the day, or after my workout. I was just doing 10,000 steps a day and like 20 minutes of cardio. And this was like for 2 or 3 weeks, but I was not doing fasted cardio. And that really was not because I'm lazy. I just did not align with my work schedule, and with the days getting shorter, unfortunately, it was super dark when I woke up at like 7. And who wants to walk in the dark at 7 when it's already cold outside? Because it's like 50 degrees right now, which is really cold for Florida, but I love the cold, so I'm here for it. But the sun's up now because there's a time change a few days ago. So luckily, because the time change, now if I get up at 6:30, the sun is out and I can go walk, and I feel so much better when I do fasted cardio outside than when I do it inside. I was doing it inside on my walking pad, but I was just like I was a grump. I don't know why. Something about just moving, the scenery helps me mentally kind of disassociate, and it starts my day better before I have to go associate for my job. SNHU, shout out. I'm an adjunct instructor and academic advisor. So I do have full-time jobs typically. But I will say that if you can try to align your schedule a little bit better so that you can do fasted cardio, I think it will help you lose more weight quickly, at least a little bit quicker, just because it's something else that you can do. And if you get in the habit and build the routine, consistency is the word, because that was my initial thing. I was awesome. I was doing it every single day. And then when it got dark outside, I didn't feel, it was a safety thing. I didn't feel as safe just because I am a woman, right? Like sometimes you don't feel safe walking outside, and that's okay. But now that there's a time change, here I am again, baby. And this is day 2 of doing fasted cardio, and I've already lost 1 pound, which is great because I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm gonna be stuck at 137, 136 forever. But now I'm back to 135. And there is something to be said that, you know, after day 2 or 3 of your period, you get less bloated, you lose water weight, your body goes back to homeostasis, if you will. So again, these are just my tidbits and my sage advice, LOL. This is really not advice. This is just my real rawness about being in a bodybuilding phase of my life. This is my first official competition prep. So will I keep doing this? Stay tuned, because I'm over 2 months out still, but I mean, it's just like I go through phases where I'm like, I love this. This is great. I like the challenge. It's a different challenge, and it's not a challenge with food, because I've always been healthy, and I've always been like whole foods first and less added processed stuff, and make sure I'm getting enough protein and fiber and vegetables and fruit and hydration and limiting caffeine, making sure I get enough sleep. I've always been that person. Bodybuilding does take it to another level, but it's only harder on certain times of the month. It's really only harder before my period. Other than that, this is easy because I love training. I love going to the gym. I don't mind doing cardio, which a lot of bodybuilders attest to. They're like, I hate the cardio aspect. I think it's so stupid that I have to walk, blah, blah, blah. You don't always have to walk though. Sometimes I'll do the bike at the gym just for like 20-30 minutes. That's extra cardio, right? But walking in the morning also though just helps me get my steps in, because after I walk and I go home and I start my workday, sometimes I sit down because I'm like ingrained in something and I can't pull myself away. And then this way at least I feel less guilty because I already got, let's say, 4,000 steps in, 5,000 steps. And if my goal for the day is like 15,000 steps, I'm already 1/3 of the day there within the first hour of the day. So then I have like 10, 11, 12 more hours to figure it out. I will say the walking pad is great though. Everyone always asks me, what walking pad do you have? The walking pad that I have, I got on Amazon for like $100, and I got it during Prime Week. And I would link it, but I don't think they sell the same one anymore. But there's so many probably even better ones. Because I got this walking pad when I was in like the bulk of my graduate studies a few years ago. So when I was finishing my second master's degree, because I'm crazy, I was like, I need something to help me in case I can't go to the gym, just get the extra steps in. And then I got a work from home job during the second part of my master's degree. So I was able to work from home as well. And I was like, I need something to help me get my steps in while I'm working from home. And the walking pad became an essential piece. But yeah, there's a bunch of them on Amazon. What I would say for the walking pad though is look at the reviews. Make sure it has good reviews. Make sure it's not something you have to put together, because then you'll be less inclined to like use it all the time. I'm trying to think what else. I would say don't let it break the bank, because I've seen some walking pads go up to like $300, and it's not a treadmill. It doesn't go up and down. There's no incline on it. Because in my opinion, if you have a standing desk, then you don't want to go incline, because it'll ruin your ergonomic, where you're going to put your arms when you're typing and where you're going to look on your keyboard. So just get a flat standing or walking pad. You don't need a full-on treadmill. A walking pad, by the way, is just like a treadmill without the incline, so it just stays flat. But you can move the the rate. Like mine goes up to like four, I think so, 4.5. And I never go that fast at the gym. I'll go like maybe 3.5 at the most at the gym. So yeah, so the speed is pretty, I'd say, level. But sometimes you don't want the speed too high when you're working anyway, because you need to focus, and if the speed's too fast, you can't focus. So just invest in it. It makes a huge difference. That's where we are. All right, I've been rambling for like almost 20 minutes, so I'm gonna go now. But thank you for listening.